Well, hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritland's Unpopular Wrestling Opinion, episode 14, where I'm going to talk about Triple H, the wrestler. Not Triple H, the booker, not Triple H, the promoter. He's done more good than bad in NXT, and with stuff that he's done on the main roster when he's been given a chance. I'm not going to fault him. I'm not going to say he doesn't recognize talent. I'm not going to say he doesn't have in-ring talent. He does. You don't stay around as long as he has without being good to great in the ring. But there's a reason why I didn't put him on my top 50 favorite wrestlers of all time list. They don't think that Triple H is one of the all-time greats. No matter how, and he's delivered some great feuds. His feud with Batista was good to great. His feud with, I think his feud with Randy Orton, especially in 2009, was really good. He's a really good in-ring worker. He has since, from about 2010, been a part-timer, which was smart because of injuries and also him taking more of a backstage, influence and backstage role. And, being in the position that he is now, which he has earned, whether it's being married to the boss's daughter has influenced it or not, he has put in the work. I give him credit for that. But the wrestler, I've never been fully excited about Triple H matches the way that others have. I just have never, I've never seen it where I watch one of his matches and, it's like, okay, that's a different spot. Ooh, that's a different spot. His feud with The Undertaker, he did some good stuff there. They did some pretty damn good spots. But a lot of it was a set routine. Now, every wrestler's got their set routine. I'm not here to argue with that. Bret Hart's my favorite superstar of all time, and I admit that he had a set routine in his matches. Every wrestler does. The problem does come, when I look at some of the feuds and some of the way that he did bury some talents, and he did. Now, he did put over some talents. He put over Cena at WrestleMania 22. In a match that I didn't particularly think that he would put him over. And yeah, he put over Benoit, but you had to have Shawn Michaels in there because I don't think Triple H wanted to work one-on-one, and I guess they didn't believe that Benoit would draw. Don't get me wrong, one of the best main events in WrestleMania history. But you have to wonder why they couldn't have just done a classic, one-on-one match. Because Triple H didn't want to fully put him over. That, my opinion, yeah, he did tap out clean in the ring. But I always go back to that, and I go back to the Booker T thing. Yes, I'm sorry. I know I have talked about that before, but the Booker T feud, in particular, infuriates me and puts an asterisk next to his career. The way he buried RVD, and I'm not even the biggest fan of RVD. I may do an unpopular opinion on RVD at some point. That might actually show up sometime later this year. But his stuff... Him and The Rock had a great feud. Him and Austin had a great feud. He was part of really great feuds, but I do agree with Bret Hart. I'm not as harsh on Triple H as Bret Hart is, but I do agree that he could always be, in title feuds, but he could never, he could work with the top guy, but could never be the top guy. Because he was never the best top guy. And no matter how hard he tried, Shawn Michaels was always better. The Rock was always better. Austin was always better. And when Triple H was the guy, especially 2002, 2003, early 2004, the Raw product suffered terribly. Whether that was Triple H all on his own, whether that was creative or whatever, is up for debate. But even when he came back from his injury, in 2002, that was great. The Madison Square Garden pop where through the TV you could feel the foundation of that building shaking because people were happy to see him back. I was happy to see him back. It was great stuff. It was good shit. He always did work better as a heel. I'm not saying that he isn't likable. And yes, I do go, fast forwarding, do go to the whole thing with CM Punk as part of the reason why I have issue with Triple H, because Punk was better than Triple H in the ring, my opinion. This is not going to be completely dogging Triple H. I will praise him as I have praised his feuds in the past. Just in a few minutes of this video, I have praised feuds that he's done before. The last great match that he had before this, before the match that he had with him and his wife versus Kurt and Ronda, Triple H and Stephanie versus Kurt and Ronda. Ronda Rowdy is Kirk Angel called him. And yeah, Kirk Angel, old Jericho callback. The last great match that he had was WrestleMania 30. The match with Rollins was good, but it went on too long. The match with Reigns at 32 was shit. The match he had with Sting at WrestleMania 31 wasn't very good. And then you got to go back to the end of an era match at WrestleMania 28. I didn't care for the WrestleMania 27 match. It was a standout match on a card that wasn't very good. I still didn't like it as much as others did. I think it was good in spots, but I thought it went on too long. 26, his match with Sheamus was His match with Randy Orton at Mania 25, that was undercut by the whole DQ, lose the title thing. 24, he's part of a triple threat. He wasn't part of 23 because of the quad injury, which he did come back from, thankfully. 22 was a good match against Cena. Great match. His match with Batista was pretty damn good, despite Batista having such injuries that I believe he had nerve damage to a point where he couldn't feel one of his legs. He had no feeling in one of his legs. His right or his left, I forget what. WrestleMania 20, where he put over Benoit. WrestleMania 19 is a sticking point for me, because he should have not beaten Booker T, especially for the fact it was a race feud. Yes, I'm going to go into that. But I'm going back for the whole point of it. So you go all the way back to 22. He gets squashed by Warrior. Then I believe he faced Goldust at 13, which wasn't a bad match. 14, he faced Owen Hart. Decent enough match for what it was. 15, he faced Kane. Not very good. He closed the show as the champion at Mania 2000, Mania 16, in a fatal four-way that should have just been a triple threat. Or just one-on-one. I mean, I'm sorry. Big Show really shouldn't have been part of it. Foley shouldn't have been part of it. Though Foley got to be in the main event, so credit to him. Even he admitted he didn't want to be part of it. I liked the Mania 17 match that he had with Undertaker. I actually think that's the second best match they ever had. Especially to WrestleMania. I mean, I know they only had 3, but I would rank 17 above 27. And personal bias, whatever. And then you go to Mania 18. The match he had with Jericho wasn't very good. And that was partly because the crowd was so fucking burned out from Hogan and Rock, which should have gone on last. But you go to all that stuff. Triple H has had some classics at Mania. I'm not here to discredit that. But let's not act like, more than half his matches have been, good. Because some of them have kind of been the shits. Now, whether that was his fault, whether that was the fault of just time being cut, whether that was... Because there were some, like the squash by Warrior was shit. Though, at the time, I sort of understood why it happened. And then the curtain call happened, and Triple H got buried for a number of months. Which he should have been. I mean, everybody in the curtain call should have been. I did a 20-year reflection on the curtain call back in, I think it was May of 2016. And you could check that out if you want. It's when I was on Ustream, but you could listen to it. I might even, at one point, do a 25-year reflection, just talk about it and then bury it for good. But that would be 2021, so that's a few years off from now, since it's 2018 still. Provided that the world ain't blown up by then. But Triple H had good feuds. He did. I won't say that he didn't. But a lot of times, he was kind of like, with Shawn, where if he couldn't work with his friends, he was going to bury a lot of people. That's what his Reign of Terror did. Sorry, it buried pretty much everybody. Even when Goldberg got put over at Unforgiven 2003, he had already been beaten the previous month. Bloom was off the rose. His best matches, besides against maybe Rock, Austin, or Taker, were against Shawn Michaels for the all-time greats. And yeah, Austin, even in his diminished condition with the bad neck and everything. Triple H and Kurt Angle had some good matches. Maybe not the best, but some good matches. But you look at Triple H's career, did he earn his place in the business? Yes, he did. Through hard work. He certainly isn't bad in the ring. I'm not going to say that, but there are a lot of times where I'll watch, a Triple H match. Oh, look, knee, face buster, high knee, face buster, right into the knee. And pedigree out of nowhere and win. And it just got boring after a while. He varied up his offense. He slowed down a bit also because of all the injuries and stuff like that. But his feud with Booker in 2007 when he came back at SummerSlam 07 and pretty much just squashed Booker. That was ridiculous. I don't know. Anytime I think about Triple H the wrestler, I think somebody that's good, and he is good. But I just don't see it. I don't see what others see as him being this great wrestler. And people say, oh, well, he's put a lot of people over later in his career. Yeah, it took him long enough. It got to the point where it's okay, anybody that beats him at this point, I mean, it's shit, Have freaking Charlie Haas beat him. And nothing against Charlie Haas, but at some point somebody's got to beat him and keep the title off of him for a while. And even after he put over Benoit, he was still in the main events. Him and Shawn Michaels were in the main events, or something like that. Or they had the matches with the most hype, while a lot of Benoit matches just got undercut. And then right after Orton had beaten Benoit, Triple H won the title back, like from Orton a month later, and then held on to it for a number of months till Mania. And then actually didn't hold on to the title for a while after that. In fact, I think after losing it at 05, I don't think he was WWE champion again till 2007. And then he had the feud with Orton. And he's a good worker. He still is a good worker. I think it's about time for him to step away. I think Mania 35 should be his last, because he doesn't really need to be wrestling anymore. Especially with his backstage role expanding and everything, and maybe him taking over more stuff from Vince, hopefully, soon. Whatever gets rid of Kevin Dunn. That fucking Bucky Beavertooth motherfucker. And yeah, I'm going to call him that. I'd call him that to his goddamn face if he wasn't a coward. And if I wouldn't be, charged with trespassing at the very least, going to, going to Stanford. But just with Triple H, this is what it comes down to. He is a good to great worker, but he is not the best of all time. To me, if you guys watching think he's one of, if not the best of all time, that's great. I'm not here to discredit you guys. But let's not act like he's... I'm just going to say, let's not like all not take the bad with the good. He's had a flawed career. He's done great as a booker, great as a promoter. Not going to discredit that. But he's not the best of all time. That's all I really got to say about that. So yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on Triple H. Triple H, the wrestler, again. I mean, he's not. I don't know. I just have never seen it with him being like, oh, Triple H is in another match, hooray. Sorry, it's like I just. Even before 2010, I was getting tired of him. And then when he was like just not once a year, sporadically appearing throughout the year and wrestling. Okay, I got that. But just often you're watching Triple H wrestle and it's like it's the same shit, same old shit. To me, again, if you guys like Triple H, that's great. But anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. Another Unpopular Wrestling Opinion is in the books, and I will see you soon.